What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have episode 13. We're talking about growing a loyal following and attracting sponsorships. And I have a very special guest today. Today we're talking with Michael Wittig. Michael is a certified PT and nutritionist, of course, 7 times natural pro champ, master world champion. He's also sponsored by brands such as Cage Muscle, S-Force and Riderwear, which is how I know Michael. And also he's a writer for magazines like Train Magazine, Iron Magazine, and Physique Global Magazine. So Michael's very established in the industry. I wanted to bring him on to try and extract some of his wisdom and give you guys a bit of insight into maybe different ways you can take your business. If you're wanting to attract some sponsorships, we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about growing a loyal following because that's important for everyone in business. And Michael's done that really well using social media. So welcome to the podcast, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to talk with you again, Sally.
No problem. So I thought we would start off by talking about consistency because over the years, I think I've known you for maybe 5 years now. I don't know. It's been a long time. I've seen you are the most consistent person I think I've ever seen online. You're posting every single day, I think twice a day. Is that right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. But the 2 times seems to fit life better.
Yeah. And you know, I think this is, you know, how you're keeping up with all your sponsorships because, you know, I know you need to post a certain amount of times a week and things like that. But this consistency I can see through it, just you as a person. And I can see how it contributes to, you know, your fitness, winning your competitions, you running your business, and also social media. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, to start off, how has this consistency in your life and in your business, how has it paid off for you?
I think to me, and this is something I talk about a lot in regards to not just fitness and nutrition, but also business and just life in general. Some of us are blessed with genetics or just blessed with a good situation. Many of us are not, like myself. I'm just a normal guy. So how I win in life is by being consistent, doing my best, always learning and trying to do better, but just being very consistent. So that for me, that's with my nutrition. That's with my training. That's with things I do lifestyle and family wise. And that has to do with building my business and my brands as well. There's a lot of days where I don't feel like doing it. And that could be posting, that could be working out. But what I do is I just make myself do what's necessary, do what I've laid out to do, regardless how I feel. So I just have that rule. It's black and white. It's never gray for me. It could be gray, but then you start slacking and slipping on things. So I just have that a black and white rule. I do A, B, C every single day, regardless how I feel. And then when I'm feeling better, hey, business is still going. I'm still growing. I never have a dip or where I'm just stalled out. Things are always, even if it's a small growth, things are always growing because I'm always doing.
Right. And do you have some sort of process where you check in with how you're going, how you're progressing, and then make some changes? Because I know that sometimes people lose faith in the process, right? And it stops them from being so consistent. So how do you check in with yourself?
Yeah, so when it comes to like social media or building your training brand, there is no one way to do it. Okay, There's better ways and there's proven ways, but every path for every lifestyle is a little bit different. So sometimes it's hard to know if what you're doing is right. So you do have to kind of self-evaluate and check on your own progress and see if you are making progress. Now, what that means, progress results, that varies. It depends on what your goals are and what you're actually trying to do. So I advise people to, first of all, really define what success is to you. What is growth for you? What are you trying to accomplish? Is that perception on social media? Is that making X amount of money per month? Is that having X amount of clients per month? You need to define what your goal is. So then after you're doing work for a month or 2 or 6 months or a year, you can gauge if you've made progress towards your goal. If you don't have a set goal, you're just kind of working aimlessly, and maybe you're making progress, maybe you're not, you don't know. So you do have to kind of define your goal, but you also have to define for yourself what is progress. What would that look like? And you need to have that on paper or on your computer so it's set. You can't just kind of have goals floating around in your mind, or you're never going to actually get somewhere in the destination. You're just going to be kind of wandering aimlessly.
Right. And I think also it's important to have like a process of what you're doing as well. So I think most people, most coaches will sort of just post aimlessly on social media and just wait and hopefully clients come. um,
Yeah.
but there's no real way to evaluate what's working if you don't know all the moving pieces, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. So do you have any tips for people who find it hard to stay consistent? Like what is it for you that is helping you to stay so consistent through basically
Well,
all these years?
so with social media, here's the thing, and I had some of my friends um, post about this yesterday. Actually, messaged me about it. You know, they're posting about that they get frustrated because they're not getting the views and the engagement of some other people. And I knew this guy, and it was on his story, so I wrote him back right away. And I said, "Don't worry about that stuff." I said, "Think of this as is like the stock market. Just stick with it, keep going. Yeah, make tweaks, make adjustments if things aren't working, but
Yeah.
just stick with it. And at the end, it's going to grow. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Some people are going to be, I don't know, better looking or have a gimmick or just lucky, and their
Yeah.
growth will just happen. Don't worry about those other people. Just be consistent and perfect what you're doing. You know, so my approach is, hey, I'm not the best looking. I'm not the strongest. I'm not, I'm 44 years old. I'm a natural athlete. I have my own little niche. But what has gotten me to where I'm at, and I'm not famous or rolling around in money, but I've been very happy with the progress I've made the last 6 or 7 years. And for me, it has been the consistency that we just talked about. I almost call it in my mind blunt force attack. I just attack what I'm going at like full force every single day. And it's maybe been slow progress, but it's always been progress.
Right.
So you just stick with it and make those minor adjustments when something's not working. So my approach with social media and just growing my audience is just has been trying things basically.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I learn new things or try something new, and then I just stick with it. I never stop.
Yeah. Awesome. And your content is consistent too. I don't see you trying all these new things like reels and whatever, comes up on Instagram and things like that. You just stay consistent with what you're doing. And I know it's like every day in your stories, I know you're going to have your training clips up. You're going to be explaining the workouts that you're doing and we're talking about the supplements you're using. And we're talking about your nutrition and of course sharing a bit about your life too. So people know what to expect from you and then they can utilize you for motivation and inspiration along the way, right?
Yeah, because where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to nutrition, to training, to business is the consistency. So
Mm-hmm.
I model that by showing my everyday. And if you followed me a year ago, you tune in today, it's going to be a different outfit and different food and a different workout, but it's what I do day in and day out. And how that's helped me business wise, though, is when it comes to marketing, you got to realize that your audience is not watching everything you do every second. They got
Mm-hmm.
other things going on in their life. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to spend seconds maybe tuning into you for that time of day when they feel like it or when you happen to pop up. They're not doing something. So it comes down to multiple impressions.
Yeah.
So I may do and post a lot of the same stuff every day, but it's not going to be the same people seeing it every day or at the same time every day. So it's about multiple impressions. I want one person over a period of time to see me doing this, or this product multiple times, and eventually it's going to stick.
Mm-hmm.
That one day where they need a pair of shoes, they're going to remember seeing me post about my shoes 3 or 4 times over a 6 month period. They're going to go there. And for me, that's proven. I've
Mm.
seen my relationships, my sales, my personal income grow pretty steadily over the years just by being the consistency and giving people that insight into my life.
Yeah, awesome. It's like practicing what you preach as well, and it's showing leadership as well. So if someone's watching what you're doing and they're seeing, wow, how is this person doing this every single day, and they're getting such great results, so they must be able to help me. So that would really help with, I'm assuming, getting your clients as well, right?
Absolutely. And with the consistency that I do, my stories are pretty stacked every day. I do 2 main posts every day on Instagram and Facebook. As you said, I kind of stick to what I do. There's
Yeah.
new things coming out all the time, and I eventually try new stuff. I'm just always kind of late to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm older. I don't like to jump on new stuff just in case it doesn't work out. I'd rather do what I do very well than try to do a bunch of things half-aid, not good. So while I do add to what I do, I'm just very slow at doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and with the amount of consistency that I do on stories and on my main post, it allows me room to, number one, do what I mainly set to do, is provide education and inspiration and help people. That's
Yeah.
number one. Number two, yes, I want to showcase products or things that I'm selling personally that are going to help people, and or they're things that I use personally that have helped me succeed.
Hmm.
So to do those two things effectively, though, you have to have enough content coming out to be able to accomplish both those things on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome, mate. Let's move on to talk about some sponsorships here. So, as I said in the intro, you're sponsored by multiple brands, great brands, and you've been with them for quite a while now, which is awesome. Um, what's some advice you have for how to choose a brand, say someone who's listening, a personal trainer or coach who wants to collaborate with a brand, maybe supplements or whatever it is? How do you choose a brand to work with that doesn't distract from what you're doing in your business?
So sponsorship is something I've always done well, even before I got started fitness as a career, which I did later in life in my mid 30s. Is been my second career as an adult. My first career was a professional musician with a rock band called Pillar, and we did real well. And I learned about sponsorships in the music business with guitars and strings and amplifiers and apparel and all that kind of stuff. So I just carried that knowledge over to fitness. But first of all, with sponsorships, you don't have to compete. You don't have to be a champion. You don't have to look the best. You do need to have some sort of social media platform, but it doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands. Okay, you what sponsorships are is you're a part of their marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping them get the word out. So you have to have some sort of base. And what's more important than high numbers is how many of the people you do that do follow you that you actually connect with. Okay, that's really what's most important. When it comes to actual companies that I want to sponsor or be associated with, it's products that I use,
Mm-hmm.
that I truly value, that help me with my personal life. Those are the only companies I've ever gone after. I see a lot of athletes or influencers or whatever you want to call them just jump and ship this supplement company to this supplement company. They start their own supplement company and then they go over to this. And to me, when I see that, it just makes me think they're bouncing around for money
Mm-hmm.
or for deals. So I've never been into it for that. I only partner with companies that I use, that I've sought out and used. So Riderwear, my feet were killing me. I saw advertisements on my Facebook for their shoes, multiple impressions. After a while, I said, you know what, I need to try those out. I like how they look. They're made for lifting. Let me try them. I bought a pair. I liked it. I bought a second pair. I loved it. I started talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to become an athlete. They turned me down the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I still like the product. That had nothing to do with it's not like I'm going to go buy a different shoe,
Yeah.
just because I want free shoes. I kept using it. Eventually, they came to me. Michael, we'd like to give you a try. I've been with them for 6 years now. I don't know. It's probably close to 6 years. Same with Cage Muscle. I was eventually, first of all, I was with a different supplement company. I liked it. Over time, though, I started learning more about nutrition, more about supplements. I started researching more, and then I didn't like what the ingredient listing was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel good about it. I didn't want to use it myself, so I definitely wasn't going to tell my family and my friends and my social media followers about it. And I researched and I found Cage Muscle. I bought it. I reached out to them, eventually became part of their team. It's been 6 years now. So you have to truly be successful at it. You have to be sincere, which means you need to go only after products you would trust sharing with your family. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it comes down to. Would I let my son wear or use this product? And
Mm-hmm.
if so, then go for it.
Awesome. So, what would you say brands are looking for? I know you covered this just quickly then, but and maybe what are some common misconceptions that people think brands are looking for that they're not really?
A lot of people, I think that you have to have a million followers.
Yeah.
They think you have to be the best looking, you have to be famous. While all that does help and that does factor in, you don't have to start there. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of You're not going to start at the top anyways. When you start, there's different levels and different types of sponsorships you can get,
Yeah.
from just free product to free product and a little bit of money to, hey, you're on a salary, to
Mm-hmm.
you're getting stuff and paid and doing there's a lot of different levels. You're generally going to start at the bottom, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What I don't advise is to partner with companies that make you pay up front. I've seen those
Mm.
out there. They're like, hey, buy this hundreds of dollars worth of stuff and we'll let you be an ambassador. I say stay away from that type of stuff. It's kind of windy here, so my hair is going. But I would say stay away from that type of stuff. But know that you're going to start out at the bottom level where you might get a very small amount of free product
Yeah.
and you're only going to earn a percentage commission of what you are involved with selling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Start off at the bottom, but if you can be the give give more than what they expect, work at a high level, quality level, be quicker and faster than everyone else, and just do the best job you can do, exceed expectations. You do that over a period of time, you'll grow and you'll get better deals. I
Mm.
started off at the bottom, just about every company I was with, and I would say the level I'm at now is near the top tier of what you can get.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overnight. It's taken 5 years of consistency to get there. But if it's something you want to do, it's definitely can be worth it. My sponsorships, and this is not bragging, this is just 5 years of hard work. I haven't had to buy shoes in 5 years, clothing in 5 years. I get a large amount of the food for myself and my family provided now. A lot of luxury items. I'm sure I'm missing something else. Supplements, all the supplements I can get.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm getting paid monthly enough to pay bills. Not all
Right.
my bills. I'm not rich, but it helps my family tremendously. The effort that I put into my sponsorship. So it doesn't matter if you're an online trainer, a personal trainer, an athlete, whatever you're doing. If you connect with people and you want to educate people, inspire people, also seeking sponsorships and the right kind of deals, they can greatly help your family, greatly help your income and just your situation and help you have more time to do what you do.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's great advice. All right, let's talk about competitions because I know you recently won a comp, so congratulations. And you're a 7-time natural champ. So I wanted to dig in a little bit here. So, how do you, I never know how people run a business, deal with the social media, have a family, compete, also like everything else that sits on top with all your sponsorships and things of that nature. So how do you keep up with everything you've got going on and also compete successfully on top of that?
You have to be a little bit insane, a little bit messed up in the mind like me. Competing is definitely not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you do it because you love it. There's a lot of people want to try it, and you try it, and either you love it or you don't. If you don't love it, don't do it because it can be very trying on families, on your mental aspect, on it can affect you physically. It's something I wanted to try a long time ago. I think I was 39, 40 when I first started. Um, my first experience was actually not good. And
Mm.
then then I heard about the natural leagues that they have over here in the US because I am natural. I'm 44, health first. I don't care about being the biggest monster I could be. That's not my goal. I heard about the natural league, so I tried it one more time and just fell in love with it. I liked the people I was competing with. The organizations were friendly. I had just a good experience with it, and I do it because I love it. It doesn't factor into my business. I don't have to do it to have my online training business. I don't have to do it to have my sponsorships. While I do love competing, it does help those things now. Being a 7-time pro champion, it helps. But that those other aspects of my business are not dependent on me competing. I do it because I love it. Now I'm a disciplined person, so
Mm-hmm.
competing is perfect for me. I like being uncomfortable. I'm fine with being a little hungry and a little bit in pain. That stuff doesn't bother me. I actually like that challenge. It's probably why I like to compete to see how hard I can push myself. It's only possible though because of my support system.
Yeah.
If my family didn't support me and help me with it, it would be nearly impossible being a family man. If I didn't get myself business wise to where I was, it'd probably be really, really difficult. I started off as a personal trainer. I do online training. And I'm to a level now where those things allow me to have a flexible schedule
Mm-hmm.
and free time to be able to train and do what I need to do to compete.
Right.
Um, so a lot of it's just being a little crazy in the mind, actually, and just doing it.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to eating and supplements and training, I just like a robot, just every day. I just do it, and because I think of my passion for it is the reason I've been able to be successful at the level I have been. It's not
Right.
because I'm the best. I'm genetically not the best. I'm tall, skinny guy, but it's just work ethic over time and just never stopping has helped me become a 7-time champion. I've won 4 championships this year alone, and now I'm going to be taking a long off season to improve and hopefully turn that 7-time into a 10-time in years to come.
Awesome. Well, that leads into my next question, which is what are your goals with regards to competitions moving forward? When are you going to
Well,
stop?
with competitions in business and everything, first of all, I encourage everyone to have goals. A
Yeah.
lot of people like to do them at the beginning of the year. I do that, but I just have goals in general. So at the beginning of this year, it was to compete a handful of times. I didn't think I would compete 4 times, but I wanted to compete at least 2 or 3 times this year. I wanted to get on the cover of a fitness magazine, which has been a goal of mine. It had nothing to do with financial or anything. It's just a personal goal I wanted to accomplish, and
Hmm.
then grow my businesses in general. Well, at this time, the year's not over with. I accomplished all those goals. I did land the cover of the magazine. I ended up competing 4 times and winning 4 championships this year. Um, so my goals moving forward is I'll probably take about 2 years off to build, minimum 2 years. I want to compete in maybe, I don't know, 2022 at the earliest, if not 23. But I eventually want to step up to classic physique. So I just need to build more muscle to do that. I want to do masters bodybuilding at 50. So that gives me 6 years to put on a handful of pounds to step up to masters bodybuilding by 50. Um, my other goal this year, and I'm gonna have to push it to finish it, is to release one more trainer. I haven't released any trainers this year. I want to release a cutting trainer, a Diamond Cutter 2.0, which is the second of edition of one of my most successful trainers, which is called Diamond Cutter,
Hmm.
this year. So I would like to release it so people can have it for January 1st to start their 2021 off, on their best foot.
Awesome. You mentioned, well, we talked about the magazines that you're a writer for. Now, I did have Amelia Ricci on a previous episode, and she was talking about how she managed to write for one of the magazines. I don't know if you get Oxygen magazine over there, but so she gave us a bit of insight into how she got into that. But I would love to hear from you how you got your foot in the door with writing for magazines, because there may be some people listening that's maybe a goal for theirs, either to get featured or to be a writer long term. So do you have any advice around how to get your foot in the door there?
Absolutely. So writing has always been something I've been into. When I was in the band, I blogged every day for years. I mean, if it was in a book, the book would be ridiculous long of how much I actually wrote. So when I
Mm-hmm.
got into fitness, it's something I just naturally wanted to do, was write, to communicate with people, to explain things, to motivate them, educate them. So from the beginning, I blogged, I wrote ebooks, like right from the beginning about 7 years ago. I also then later on, as time went on, I started doing newsletters. I'm actually working on one now that once we're done with this podcast, I'm going to go finish up my weekly newsletter and drop it out today. I like to drop them every Sunday afternoon just because I have the time to do it then.
Mm-hmm.
But most of all, if you want to write, you have to develop that skill. The best way to do it is not writing for magazines, because you have to be decently good at that point. So do your own blog, write a newsletter, use WordPress, use your own website or whatever you want to use. Get in the habit of consistently blogging, on whatever topic you want to do on. That's how you want to write on. That's how you're going to get better. And once you've done that and you feel like you're ready to maybe write for a magazine, so I do it because I've always wanted to reach a mass amount of people. I
Mm-hmm.
started off personal training one-on-one, but even then my goal was to reach thousands of people, not just one person at a time. So
Mm-hmm.
while I was training one person at a time to pay my bills, I was slowly making the moves to reach people in mass with newsletter, with website, with ebooks. And it took me many years to finally get into the magazines. And I did what you're asking me right now, is I sought advice from other people that were already doing it
Right.
just to get their feedback. So my first step was to make contacts. I had no idea where to start. So what I did was I got on LinkedIn and I started just researching. I paid for the upgraded model, is like $50 a month. And just started researching for several weeks. I spent an hour a day. I got up at 5 a.m., every day for several weeks and only researched what magazines are out there, who are the editors, who's involved, and just
Mm-hmm.
started writing it down on a document, doing my research, and then moving on. Once I felt like I had a good amount of research, then I started reaching out to everybody on my list with a well-written email or message on LinkedIn, introducing myself, what I would like to do, and expecting a very, very low response rate. I only needed, out of the 50 people I wrote, I only needed one or two to reply, and I
Mm-hmm.
had one or two reply.
Yeah.
And then hey, sounds great. You got a good story. Send me a sample. So this is where you need to have blogs and articles ready to go. I had stuff ready to go, and I had my own biography I wrote out explaining who I am, what I like to do and what I'd like to accomplish, partnering with their magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I just wrote that email. So it started there with just researching, then connecting with people. But before you even do that, you need to have some some samples.
Yeah.
So for me, it was stuff, blogs I had already written, maybe even blogs that some of my sponsors have published. So I could say they've been published by more places than just my own website. So that was months and months, maybe years of work that I was getting ready to take that next step of reaching out to magazines. And then the other thing that helped is networking. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
who are other writers already doing it? Becoming friends with them, because they can introduce you to editors. They can help get your foot in the door. But then you have to back it up again with your own skill and your own writing. So it started there. What's helped me tremendously too is not just writing. So there's two different things. You can write, or you can just be a model. Maybe you don't care about writing, maybe that's not your skill, but you just want to be featured in magazines to help raise your profile, or
Mm-hmm.
for bragging rights. So you just need to have great photo shoots.
Yeah.
So that can start by hiring famous photographers that are going to get you quality magazine, quality photos. You can invest thousands of dollars into that, and some people do. There are the top photographers out there, Bailey, you know, I'm drawing a blank, but they're the guys that you'll see on all the top shots. You can hire those guys, get
Mm-hmm.
those shots. They have connections. They can submit them for you or give you the contacts, and their name alone can help you be a model. You can just write and not model. Maybe you don't have a physique that's for magazines and you don't care. That's not what you do. You're just
Mm-hmm.
maybe a very qualified trainer that wants to help people. You can write articles, and the magazines will supply their own photographs. They have thousands of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I've always wanted to do is both. I write the articles, I go do the photo shoots, and I submit the article with the photo shoots. That gives me more possibilities and higher chances of getting published, providing everything in house.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I invest in the early days into my own photo shoots, I use those photo shoots for multiple purposes, for my own articles, my own magazines, my own social media, my sponsors. I cover all the bases at one time, and then I have a higher chance of getting published because I'm giving them everything they need.
Wow, that's awesome advice. I think one thing that I learned when I was talking about this same topic with Amelia in the previous episode is that it's just important that you get everything together and sort of go to the magazine with a proposition, right? Um, this is what I want to write about. This is what I think will help your magazine, rather than can you help me? Can you feature me? It's all about me, rather thinking about it differently in the way of what do they need? What can I do to help them for their magazine? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to just spam magazines with what you're wanting to do. Each magazine has its own fan or its own audience, its own subscribership, and you need to research,
Yeah.
read those magazines, look at what kind of articles they're already doing, in general, and then how can you fit in, do it better? How can you contribute? You're
Mm-hmm.
contributing is what you're doing. You're not in there. They have models and writers all day long they can use. So you need to bring them something fresh, like exactly like you said. How are you going to help them? So I've always specialized in. I'm not the biggest bodybuilder, so I've always specialized in home workouts,
Yeah.
creative, minimal equipment home workouts. That gets my foot in the door on almost every magazine. It's something I've done for many, many years from day one for me. So it's not a gimmick. It's not jumping on the COVID bandwagon.
Mm.
I'm known for home workouts. I've done it for years and years. So when I write these articles, I'm I don't want to say I don't want to proclaim being an authority, but a lot of the magazines will consider me an authority in that. So it gets me published.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely do your research. How can you contribute? And then, like I talked about before, do exceed expectations. Give them more than they're wanting. Be faster than other people. If they tell you, hey, we need this by the 20th, turn it in a week early. Be that girl or that guy that just blows their minds, because then they're always going to come back to you.
Mm.
Be the hardest worker in the room. Be friends with be good to people. Just be
Mm-hmm.
kind, be helpful. If they ask you to help with something else, just jump on and do it.
Mm-hmm. That's really good advice for any sort of business connection that you want to make, right? Not just getting into magazines, but getting sponsorship deals or anything.
And when it comes to writing, at first, early on, you're going to be a contributor, which means
Mm-hmm.
you're going to write. You're going to spend hours and hours writing articles, maybe doing the photographs, and you're not going to get 1 cent for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to get featured in an international magazine or a local magazine or whatever, and you start building your resume that way.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, you do good enough job, you're that person that just easy to work with. You can get paid and supplement your income.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been successful as an online trainer, as a trainer, not just because I'm training, but because I have multiple streams of income doing what I love. Training people in person, online training. I do ebooks. I have my sponsorships. I get paid doing articles now. So between all those things, it allows me to be successful just doing what I love in general, which is training and helping people.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. To finish up, what advice do you have for other online coaches out there that are starting to build their brand online? Maybe they've transitioned recently from PT to online and they've got some online clients and they're building their social media presence, and they're starting to promote themselves online as a coach. What general advice do you have for them?
My general advice is to not expect to get clients just by posting. It's not how
Great advice.
it does not work that way. While it's good to do, you want people to know you train, you want to give them workouts and stuff. That's not how you're going to build your business in general. There's a lot of stuff on the back end that goes into building an online business. And if I knew basically what I know now would have blown my mind years ago. There's so much involved with it on the back end when it comes to actually how to get clients, how to actually reach out to them. It's not just posting. It's about, there's a lot of ways to do it. There's not one way. There's paid advertisement route if you want to, or there's actually reaching out and private messaging your target audience that needs help
Mm-hmm.
and just spending that time to do it. And then there's ways to manage and run your online business. But basically, there's a lot more to it than the beginner thinks. So what I would advise is to seek help.
Yeah.
Find people that are doing it successfully, find professionals, and just like every other type of business, go seek help by people that are doing it successfully already.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Michael Jordan had a coach. He's the best in the world. I'm not Michael Jordan by any means. So I sought help. I seek help. I continue to try to educate myself on a daily basis. I don't know everything. I definitely don't. So I try to educate myself on a daily basis by studying, by seeking advice from other people so I can do what I do better. And that's I always advise other people to do that, regardless how successful you are. There's always something that you can do better and something you can learn.
Mm-hmm. And would you advise our listeners to actually go and just work direct with a coach rather than trying to work it out themselves?
State that again. Do you mean working out themselves on their physical goals or building their business?
Their business, because what a lot of people do, right, is they're posting on social media and they're not getting clients, right? Maybe they'll get people reach out once a month or a couple of times a month, and they're trying to learn for free, watching YouTube videos and things like that. And what I find is that it just really drags out the amount of time that it takes for you to get to where you want to be in your business. And I always preach working with a coach, because for me, my business didn't start to take off until I just invested in a coach and just got the blueprint, basically. So would that be the same advice from you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hire a coach. I mean, with anything, hey, people hire me as a personal trainer because they don't know how to do it on their own. Um, when it comes to building businesses, unless you're a marketing genius and you know how to do click funnels and all this stuff that
Mm-hmm.
honestly, for most people, it blow their mind and it's just terms that are above their head.
Mm-hmm.
You have to seek advice. You have to get a coach. I did. Absolutely I did, and I have a business partner that has many business coaches through the years. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're a trainer, chances are you're also not a marketing expert,
Mm-hmm.
especially an online marketing expert. That's a whole nother field and a whole nother realm of stuff that skills you have to have. If you're going to be an online trainer, you have to know how to market online, and you probably don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I even talked about some of it right now, people would be overwhelmed. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely seek a coach. Find those people that are making millions of dollars with real people. And when you're looking for a coach, make sure you do your research. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them out there. Find the ones that are successful and are helping real people make real money, and learn from them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could be spinning your wheels for years and eventually give up.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Great advice. So, where can our listeners find you, Michael?
I've made it easy. Um, my social media, my website, and all my social media handles are Wittig Works. So it's my last name, which is Wittig, and the word works.com or /Wittig Works, everything across the board. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, maybe other things I'm forgetting, but you'll find my daily post every single day on all those platforms. So I try to give a lot, and I tell people, hey, take all my ideas, take all my methods, and hopefully they'll help you, be better, to
Yeah.
improve, learn from.
Awesome. All right, guys, make sure to go follow Michael. You might be able to pick up a few clues of how to maybe improve on social media with your consistency, at least by checking out his content. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Michael, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me. It's great to catch up.
No worries. Have a great day.